While Tesla was laying off 14,000 employees and cutting prices just to stay in the game, BYD's CEO quietly dropped a bombshell in Xi'an, which could destroy the EV industry as we know it. Picture this. A hybrid engine that gives you over 2,100 kilometers on a single tank and charge with the highest thermal efficiency of any mass-produced vehicle, 46.06%. This isn't just a new engine, it's a shot across the bow. Wang Chuanfu isn't just competing anymore. He's rewriting the rules. And if he's right, Tesla may have just blinked at the worst possible moment. But how exactly does this new engine threaten to destroy an industry that's supposed to be the future? Let's break it down. The answer lies in what BYD calls their fifth-generation DM technology, but calling it an upgrade doesn't do it justice. This isn't version 5, it's a reset button, a complete reimagining of what a car engine is supposed to be, and it's exactly why the BYD CEO just revealed a new engine, and it could destroy the EV industry. On May 28, 2024, in the city of Xi'an, Wang Chuanfu walked onto a stage that looked like every other auto launch event. Two sleek new sedans rolled out, one called the Chin L DMI, the other the Seal 06 DMI. But this wasn't just about new paint jobs or infotainment screens. Under the hood, something unheard of had happened. What Wang revealed was a hybrid powertrain with a thermal efficiency of 46.06%. If that sounds like just another stat, let's put it in perspective. Most combustion engines waste around 70% of their fuel as heat. Even Toyota's hybrids, the current gold standard, peak around 41%. So when BYD smashed that ceiling by over 5 percentage points, it didn't just set a new record, it rewrote what engineers thought was even possible in a production car. But here's what makes it truly dangerous to the EV industry. This isn't a return to old-school hybrids. BYD's fifth-generation DM is an electric-centric platform. That means, honestly, the gasoline engine isn't even the main character. It's more like the supporting act. Most of the driving, especially in the city, is actually handled by the electric motor. The gas engine only kicks in when it can operate in what they call its high-efficiency zone. So, it's never burning fuel at stoplights, crawling through traffic, or doing those short trips where engines are usually the most wasteful. This isn't just clever design, it's really a surgical reinvention. To pull this off, BYD had to run over 240 combustion experiments just to get the fuel mixture right. They tested more than 100 different cooling methods. They even pushed the compression ratio up from 15.5 to 16. Now, that might sound like a tiny number bump, but in engine design, that's a tectonic shift. It meant redesigning the combustion chamber from scratch, rebalancing thermal loads, and rethinking how materials hold up under some pretty extreme stress. And the result? It doesn't just work in theory, it actually crushes in the real world. In June, during a live-streamed demo, BYD's head of branding and PR, Li Yunfei, drove one of the new DMI cars under regular conditions. The car clocked in at 2.54 liters per 100 kilometers. That's not marketing spin, that's better than BYD's own advertised number of 2.9. For a little context, a Tesla Model 3 eats up 16 to 20 kilowatt-hours per 100 kilometers. And, unlike a Tesla, this thing doesn't care whether you've got a charger nearby or not. With a full fuel tank and battery charge, the car can travel a combined range of 2,100 kilometers. That's not a typo. That's not wishful thinking. That's nearly 3 times what most gasoline cars can do, and about 5 times the real-world range of most EVs on the road right now. And all of it without hunting for a fast charger in the middle of nowhere. Now think about what this actually means for drivers. Range anxiety, the #1 fear holding people back from going electric, just disappears. Gone. You get smooth, silent electric driving for daily errands, the kind of instant torque EV lovers crave. But for long road trips? No planning routes around superchargers, no queues at busy charging stations, no guilt when the battery drops below 20% in the middle of nowhere. This is where BYD's engine stops being just clever tech and becomes a weapon. It solves everything EVs haven't figured out yet. It gives you range, power, reliability, and convenience without asking for lifestyle compromises. No EV brand, not even Tesla, has managed to hit all those targets in one go. Which is why this isn't just a challenge to the EV industry, it's a knockout punch in the making. And Wang Chuanfu knows it. This was never about building one great hybrid. It was about breaking the illusion that fully electric was the only future worth chasing. He's not just trying to beat Tesla at its own game, he's building a new one altogether. And, honestly, ask yourself this. Think about your last long road trip. Would you rather pull over every 300 kilometers for a half-hour charge, or just keep driving for 2,100 without ever needing a plug? Because for most people, the answer isn't about brand loyalty, it's about freedom. And that's exactly what BYD just offered the world. But as wild as this engine is, it's not even BYD's boldest move, because hidden behind it is a battery technology that just survived tests no other manufacturer even dared to attempt, and what it endured changes everything. While Tesla struggled with battery fires and safety recalls, BYD built something so absurdly safe that they now stab it with steel nails on stage, live, just to prove it won't explode. Because this isn't just another battery, this is BYD's Blade battery, and it might just be the most underestimated weapon in their entire arsenal. At first glance, it's easy to miss how radical this design actually is. While most EV makers stack cylindrical cells like soda cans or fold pouch cells like origami, BYD decided to flip the table entirely. Their cells are long, flat, and razor-thin, arranged edge to edge like samurai blades inside the pack. Not a gimmick, a full-blown structural redesign, one that sacrifices nothing and gains everything. Now here's where things get wild. Most EV batteries, especially the ones using nickel-manganese-cobalt chemistry, have a problem. If the pack gets punctured, damaged, or overheats, it can hit 500 degrees Celsius and just erupt into flames. Tesla's had multiple high-profile fires. Nissan, GM, and Hyundai all have had their turn in the fire spotlight. But BYD's Blade battery, when they jam a steel nail through it in front of a live audience, it barely even warms up. We're talking 30 to 60 degrees Celsius. That's the equivalent of a warm coffee. No flames, no smoke, no explosion. So yes, the Blade battery passes the infamous nail penetration test, the single most brutal safety standard in the battery world. But this isn't about just surviving a test, it's about flipping the script on consumer fear. Because every viral Tesla fire reinforces this subconscious anxiety that EVs are ticking time bombs. BYD didn't just address that, they deleted it from the conversation. But safety is just the surface. Underneath, this battery is rewriting the economics of electric mobility. First, energy density. BYD squeezed 50% more juice into the same space compared to old-school lithium iron phosphate cells, and they did it without cobalt. That's huge. No more rare earth dependencies. No more sketchy mining supply chains. No more commodity price roulette. Just cheaper, safer, denser batteries. They even re-engineered the cooling layout. Instead of a clunky T-shaped pipe running through the battery, they use an S-shaped configuration that evens out heat distribution across every cell. That alone improved temperature balance by 45%. And it means no more battery hotspots, no more premature degradation, and far more consistent performance across the board. After 3,000 full charge cycles, the Blade still retains 90% of its original capacity. 3,000. That's a decade of normal use, easily. Meanwhile, most EV batteries start sagging hard after just 1,200 to 1,500 cycles. And the thing is, because BYD's using these packs inside hybrids like the Chin L and Seal 06, the stress on them is way lower. The gasoline engine keeps the battery in its sweet spot, avoiding deep discharges and crazy temperature swings. It's the battery version of never breaking a sweat. And here's the part that really puts legacy EV makers on edge. BYD makes these batteries themselves, top to bottom, raw materials to finished cells, no reliance on KTL, no middlemen, no supplier delays, just pure vertical integration. Tesla might build cars fast, but BYD builds everything, and they do it cheaper. When Geely tried to clap back and challenge BYD's efficiency claims, BYD didn't even flinch. They just pointed to independent lab results and kept moving. That wasn't a product war, that was a warning shot. Because what BYD is building here isn't just a car, it's a closed ecosystem. Battery, motor, engine, architecture, all optimized in-house, working together like a single seamless organism. And if you think that sounds like Apple's iPhone model, but for cars, you'd be right. So, here's the real question. Would you rather trust a battery that can take a nail to the chest and laugh, or one that needs fire suppression systems and special handling just to survive daily driving? But engines and batteries are just components. BYD's true masterstroke is how it integrates everything into one synchronized system. A manufacturing strategy so bold, it's forcing legacy automakers to completely rethink how cars get built. While Tesla was announcing thousands of layoffs and scrambling to fix production delays, BYD was quietly revealing what might be the real secret behind their dominance. Not the engine, not the battery, but how everything is made. Because while Tesla's still juggling suppliers like it's 2017, BYD's building cars like Apple builds iPhones, under one roof, with surgical precision. And this is where it gets kind of insane. So, BYD doesn't just build the battery, they also build the chips, the motors, the power electronics, the vehicle body, the screens, the wiring harnesses, even the door handles. They're not just assembling cars, they're, well, crafting ecosystems. From raw lithium or all the way to the final tire on the factory floor, BYD controls every major component. And that's not just good business, that's a tactical nuke in the middle of an industry still limping through chip shortages. Let's rewind to 2021 for a second. While automakers around the world were halting production because they couldn't get one tiny powertrain chip, BYD was already manufacturing its own. That 400 Chinese yuan chip, roughly $55 at the time. BYD now makes it for 50 Chinese yuan. That's just $7. And that's not some small perk. That single chip, multiplied by over 100 per car, slashes thousands off their production cost per vehicle. Tesla, on the other hand, despite all the hype, still relies on Panasonic for batteries, Nvidia for chips, and outside vendors for drive units, power management, and thermal systems. So when any one of those suppliers hits a delay or hikes their prices, Tesla feels the pain, and you can bet it ends up in the sticker price. Meanwhile, BYD just revealed the DM 5.0 system. This thing is basically a powertrain brain transplant. It takes 7 formerly separate systems, like the inverter, the onboard charger, and the thermal controller, and merges them into a single unit, one box.